Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome, welcome. I'm just getting YouTube up here. A lot of people here already. Hey, Margie. Sleepy. Hey, Glennis. Hi, Melanie. The journal prompt for this week for the Train Journal. The Train Journal Challenge. The challenge is to make a journal with the theme train. You define that however you want. That it could be anything. That's all I'll say. It could be anything. You define train journal to be anything you want. We do have a prompt each week to use in the journal. And this week is week number 5. There are 7 weeks. This started September 8th. And so there are 7 weeks because it ends October 26th. That is a Sunday night at midnight. And each week we have a prompt, something to add to the journal. They don't all have to be done in that week. You could do them any time. You could do them all the last week if you want. Just have your journal done by October 26th at midnight and post it in the Facebook group. So just as a recap, week 1 was to make 3 tags in this journal. Week 2 is to have 3 tabs, T-A-B-S, in the journal. Week 3 was to make 3 pockets in this journal. Week 4 was to use either fabric or doily. That could be paper or fabric doily, doesn't matter. Week 5, that is today. Week 5, as Margie said, is to use brads. Brads, any kind, any shape, any size, any color, anything that you want to do. I'm grabbing a couple of things still. But this week's prompt is to use brads. And looking for a specific book. I think this one might work. Okay. And aren't those flowers pretty? That is a photo I took that I just printed out. If you can give me 30 seconds, I want to run and grab an allergy pill. Allergies are really killing me and my throat is really bothering me right now. So count down for 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, got the allergy pill. Hopefully it kicks in really quickly. I do have a lozenge close by for my throat. Yes, Melanie, there is a list. If you go to the Happy Paper People Facebook group, up at the top in featured posts, there is a post that tells about the train challenge. In that post, I have been adding each week the prompts. So there are 7 weeks listed on there, and there are 4 prompts today after Jumpstart. I will put in the 5th prompt. So absolutely. Yeah, allergies are horrible. So yeah, go check out the Facebook group featured post just to get that list of prompts for sure. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Hello, hello. Okay, so crazy morning. We're going to try a new collage technique today. We're going to try it together. I have seen it before many years ago, never did it. And Sylvia actually sent me something on it a while back. And I thought, you know what, that'd be fun to try. Let's try it because every time I see it done, it looks really, really cool. And it involves using 2 pictures. These are photos that I took, that I have taken, that I printed out. And I printed them out 8.5 by 11 because I want my final thing to be 8.5 by 11. And then it dawned on me, if I want my final to be 8.5 by 11, I can't have 2 photos that are 8.5 by 11. So they should be more like maybe 5 by 7. I love this door. I didn't get this door reprinted at 5 by 7. I want to do that. And cobblestone walkway in Europe. So I printed that one at 5 by 7. There's the flowers. They did not turn out nearly as brilliant, I don't think. I don't know. In the 5x7, I may have to check the settings. It was a different print app to do that. I really like this one better. I may go ahead and use this one and just cut it down because it is all the same thing. It could be cut down to any size I want, right? That's going to be my philosophy. Here's one with one single, and that's not as brilliant as my original photo either. So that's a 4x6, and there's a 5x7 of a tree. So you could use some photos that you have taken, or grab a book or a magazine. I haven't looked through this, but I'm suspecting see, that one would be great right there. I'm suspecting that there are some photos in here that would work really well for this. What I want, see, that would be really pretty too. I want 2 photos, and I don't want them to be the same colors. I kind of want them to be contrasting colors. I do like either a focal point, like a building. Oh, that bird is cool. I hate to cut him up though. A building, that lighthouse would be cool, or something that is, what do you say, a whole grouping of something like the flowers, or a sunrise or sunset. That would be really pretty. And I should have just kind of taken some out of this book. Oh, how cute. Or like a photo of at the farmer's market. Sometimes a really cool photo of all the fruit, so the whole thing is just full of fruit, like flowers. So see, there's one of vegetables. So something that has either, one big focal point, looks like a building, or a tree would be cool. And the other one, oh, that's pretty. That'd be really pretty too. Okay, I'm gonna try it with my photos, and then I have a feeling I'm gonna be a little obsessed with this and want to do this a couple of times with different things to see the different types of images used, what they create, because they're gonna create really cool outcomes. So, but you could go through, any kind of magazine or book and pull out a couple of photos. So let me grab, I am not 100% prepared. I need a piece of cardstock because I'm going to glue these down. So they're going to get glued onto something. And for our collage, I'm going to use a piece of cardstock as a base. I could just use a piece of paper. I'm going to use cardstock just so it's a little firmer. I'll grab another one if I need another one. Thank you for the super chats. Let's remind everybody of what the super chats are for. And if you haven't been here before, you will know. Super chat down at the bottom. If you, this is not a laser printer, Chris. This is just an inkjet. But depending on the app I use, I can get really good quality. Like this is actually really excellent from an inkjet printer right there. So super chat, if you contribute a super chat on the bottom, every time we have a live, you automatically get in the drawing that we will do at the end of the live. And the drawing is for the prize pack. That is this bag o stuff. This bag will have in it things that we've made on a Monday Jumpstart, supplies to use in junk journaling. So there's sometimes old things, new things. I still have a lot of old stuff, like from estate sales and brand new supplies. It will have probably a couple rolls of washi tape in it. This one, I'm not going to go through the bag each time, but each time I do give you just an idea of a couple of the special things that are in there. This one has a stamp set, and it has a stamp and die set. So, when you buy one and it has the stamp and then the die to cut it out, it's got a stamp and die set and another stamp set. 2 completely separate things. So that's what is in this one. So anybody who contributes to the super chat to support the channel during this live is going to get in that drawing. Right now, that is Glynis and Margie. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate it. So how it works is when your name is drawn, we'll do it on the wheel, the spinning wheel, so you get to see it right there, who wins. And The winner then I asked to send by PayPal $5 to contribute towards shipping. It's always more than that. I will pick up the rest. So $5 towards shipping, but then I give you the option. If you would like to do a $10 shipping, then I will fill a flat rate bubble envelope. That's about the cheapest that ships anywhere in the country is $10.50. So if you want to send $10 shipping, then I will fill a flat rate bubble envelope for you, which is a lot more than what is in one of the prize bags. So 2 to 3 times, depending on, what the items are. So, okay. So I've been considering doing a laser printer for crisp photo print now. Yeah. And the one I have that I really like the most is an Epson. I have had many printers and I really do like my Epson. But Chris, yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later if you want to. Hey, Sherry. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you. I know you're not at home and so you're not getting to work along with us today, Carrie, but it's good to see that you actually were able to even tune in. So awesome. Carrie, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you. Carrie now goes into the drawing. So far, only 3 people in. If you'd like to support the channel with the super chat, you will get in the drawing today. That's pretty good odds so far. 1 in 3. All right. So I'm going to pick 2 photos to do this technique with. And there are actually a couple of different techniques. If we have time, I'll show you. But the first one, I really do like those. They are so pretty, aren't they? Like you said, Chris. The smaller version just doesn't seem, it just isn't as bright and crisp. But the other thing is, I guess that could be with the cobblestones. I was going to do it with this. This is a funny shot. I actually just took this out of the car window as we were driving one morning. We went on vacation recently and we were driving early in the morning to go fishing. And I just took that out of the dirty front windshield. But again, excuse me, those allergies are killing me. The large one is much better quality than the small one. So I think I'm going to use those 2 large ones after all. And I probably just won't end up using the entire photo because it's going to take up way more. Now, it could be any size. Oh, this would be pretty. This is in my backyard. It's a giant rose bush. It's really pretty. And this is cobblestone from Europe. What colors do you like better together? These 2? Cobblestone with the sunflowers. And I kind of like, let's just stick with my first instinct. Let's just stick with my first instinct. Chris, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support. The super chat. You are added to the list for today's drawing. Okay, so if you've got 2 photos you're going to use, they do not need to be this large. I will probably end up only using a portion of these photos because they are so large, because I was thinking my collage would be this size, which is the size of one of these. So can't obviously fit 2 of them on there. Although you could do a larger piece of paper or a second one side by side and use the entire thing. So the first thing that we are going to do is cut these photos up. Now, this is going to be the time-consuming part. And I could have done this ahead of time. Oops, dropped a paper cutter. But since we're trying this together for the first time, I thought let's literally try this together for the first time. I think I am going to try cutting both together because it's just a heavy copy paper. It's not anything thick. So I'm going to try cutting both together just to save time. And it's 8.5 by 11. What I'm going to do is cut them into, let's see. I'm trying to remember what the person that I saw did. I want to say she did 1/2 inch strips, but that seems really small. I'm going to go 3/4 inch strips. Oh, no, there's no quarter. No, I'm sorry. I think she did quarter. 3/4 is way too big. 1/2 inch is almost too much. She probably did 1/4 inch strips. I am going to do 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 3/8. I know that that's an odd number. That is just shy of 1/2 inch. It's between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. I'm going to do 3/8 inch strips. That seems about right to me. That they're not as big as 1/2 inch, but they're bigger than 1/4 inch. So 3/8. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm sticking to. So if you want to grab your paper, you could choose to do, especially if you've got smaller photos, you could choose to do smaller strips. But look at that. That's 3/8 inch. That's pretty small. So I don't want to go any smaller than that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying this for the first time with you guys. Love experimenting with you. And maybe I'll do another one after this and do it at 1/2 inch and see if that still looks okay. Because I do think that the size of your strips, 1, 2, 3, I do think the size of your strips will affect the look of your end collage. It's a little awkward doing both together. Now, what's important here is that I keep these strips. I can get the strip out. It's important that I keep these strips in order. So they don't necessarily have to stay on top of each other. I'm just thinking it will be easier since I cut them together if they do. But they do need to stay in order so that my picture is in order. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like I said, this is the slowest, most time-consuming part. So a smaller picture would go faster. So if you've got smaller pictures, feel free. I think tweezers will help me pick these up easily and move them over. All right, let's see if we can get this on a roll. 1, 2, 3. It's hard to get on a roll and get going with these. I mean, get any kind of speed because they're small. They're small little pieces. So picking them up, and then you have to measure the next one at 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope it turns out as cool as the one I saw. Who is going to try this along with me today? Who is waiting to see what happens before you try it? And who is working on a train journal? I know Melanie is. She stopped in for the prompt even though she couldn't stay. I know Glynis is. I haven't seen a whole lot of posts of others that are working on the train journal. 1, 2, 3. Now, when I look at the ruler measuring it, that seems fairly large. But when I look at these pieces, they seem really small pieces. And maybe you don't even have to measure. Maybe you just put it on your trimmer and you just cut. You know, maybe they don't all have to be exact. Carrie's doing a train journal. Awesome. 1, 2. Well, I can't even. That one goes over the hump. It doesn't show you exactly what the measurement is. Glynis, you think you will try today's? You think you'll try this one? Okay, so in my mind as I'm doing this, I'm thinking And I'm going to put that in now for space, the sake of space. I'm thinking next time I probably won't measure them. I'll probably just, see, those two aren't exactly the same anyway. What did I do? Who knows? I don't think it matters. I'll probably just put it on, slice, move it over a little bit, slice again. That's what I think I'll do. 1, 2, 3. Because that one is just slightly larger, and honestly, I think that that's a really good width. So I'm not going to measure these last ones. I'm just going to slice and dice. Let me move our prize pack out of the way so I can move this over. We'll get our last few cut. So if I was going to use the whole photo, if these were smaller photos, I'm going to start at the end. I'm trying to think this through before we get to this point, because I'm only going to use part of the photo. Do I want to start in the middle? Maybe I do. I could do that if they're laid out this way. I can do that. Whoops, starting in the middle. Like I said, they don't have to be on top of each other like this, but they do need to be kept in order. You can still see my photo there because it's all in order. That's what's critical, is that your photo is still in order. Getting harder to keep these together because I can't get my hand under that little safety screen. Might stop there because I can't get my hand under the safety screen to move it just the right amount and trim that up. And I think that that's plenty because of the size of the photo. So I'll leave that one. Probably will try this when I'm home. Dogs say, oh, nice. Carrie's making a train drill. Yep. Attach a post to hold it. Awesome. Okay. There is a post in the group, Chris. There is a post with the link to this Jumpstart. So if you have to, you could go to the Facebook group. Okay. So now I'm going to keep these in order. I always love trying new things with you guys. You get to see the first try, the first attempt. And what we're going to do is glue them down on this paper, every other one. So we're going to glue one of the skyline, one of the flowers, one of the skyline, one of the flowers. And so if it was a smaller picture, like I said, I would probably start on the end and just glue all the way across. But because it's a large picture, I know that the whole thing is not going to fit. Look at that skyline. I really like this stuff on the left, but if I start in the middle, I'll get halfway here and halfway there. That's what I'll do. And on the, where's the other flower? On the flower one, that's, I mean, it's all the same flower, all the sunflowers. So I'll start in the middle on that one too. So I'm going to try to keep these in order. This is a technique. I forgot the artist's name, but it's a guy from somewhere in Europe, hundreds of years ago, actually. I'll go look up his name. That he did this. Let's see. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so those two are the middle at this point. All right, so I'm going to take this as my middle. I had two that were middle. And I'm going to set it on top of there and hope not to disturb those terribly. So I'm going to keep using my tweezers and hope they help me keep it in place. All right. My glue. I'm going to use our glitter glue. I'm just going to do a thin just hoping not to get it all over my hands today. And somewhere right in the middle. Doesn't really matter exactly where, but you know. And then next to it, actually, because it's going right next to it, maybe it'd be easier just to do this. And not try to do it on this little teeny tiny piece. So I think that this technique is called by that artist's last name, which is a European last name. I remember it starts with a K, but it's not one that I was familiar with. So I'm going to try doing enough there for both side by side. First put down my landscape. Don't know if that's enough there. This is such a super thin line that it dries really, really fast. I know, I probably need to clean out that nozzle so it won't be quite that thin. So you can see why it's important to keep them in order, because when you're done, you're actually putting your landscape or whatever your photo is back together. And you'll actually be able to see that landscape, which is really cool. And the flowers. What's neat about this is you can use ordinary, everyday photos, just ordinary things. And that was his whole thing, was taking ordinary things and making them extraordinary. So take ordinary photos of your life, of, you know, your, around your home, around your neighborhood, when you go on vacation. And I mean, you could use it in a scrapbook. If you're, you know, documenting a vacation or something, take a couple of ordinary photos and do this, and you get both photos in there in a creative way without, you know, just adding the photos in like you always do, just something a little bit different. But it makes the ordinary extraordinary, because it does come out looking really, really cool. I love that one big sunflower is right there in the middle. So, and as you do it, I suspect that as we do it a couple of times, that we'll get a feel for the contrast of colors and what things would look really cool together. I saw one. Is that the one? Oh, one that had a building and then just a group of things like this, like these sunflowers. And it was really cool because when it was all done, you could see the building, and it looked like the buildings were behind the sunflower bars, and you could just see through the sunflower bars to see the building like this. You can see through the sunflower bars to see that sunrise. And it's not so much the sunrise that I was trying to photograph there, because the sun wasn't even up yet. It was light. Sun wasn't up, but it was the clouds. The clouds were so low and sitting not only on the mountains, but they were sitting down below the mountains, and just looked really neat. Love that. Love when the clouds are so low you feel like you could touch them. It will look kind of lenticular. What is lenticular? Oh, I didn't shoot. I don't know if this one was upside, which direction this one went. Let me see if I can tell by the, does that look like the next one there? Did it go this way? It would go next to that. Yeah, it went that way. Okay, good. Glad I checked because I had turned it upside down. So yeah, keeping them in order does make a difference. And then I'll try to glue it straight. You could probably, if you trust glue sticks, you could probably use a glue stick on this one. I don't know. Haven't had great luck with glue sticks, so I love the idea of using them. I love it when I use them. I don't like the result because they don't seem to last. And I don't know if it has to do with the environment. You know, we know humidity and heat and all those things affects different glues, but they don't seem to last. Within a couple of years, everything seems to just pop off, come up, lift up, like the paper's no longer, whoops, that one. Oh, not too late. Good. I got that one up a little too high. You could cut these with scissors. You could put it down on your desk and then take a ruler and a blade and just leave it sitting there. Cut a slice off, move the ruler, cut a slice, and leave it right where it is without having to deal with the paper trimmer. That is a thought. That is looking kind of cool, isn't it, Chris? I have to look at the screen because it's almost too close right here. When I look at the screen, I get a better perspective. What it's making me feel like is Hawaii. That's reminded me of sunsets on the beach at Hawaii. The colors. I really do like this contrast. So then you could take this and you could cut it into journal cards if you wanted to, depending on the size. Even using a smaller one would be cool, just glued into an art journal, or actually make the collage on the pages of the art journal so you don't have this extra cardstock to stick in there. Just do it right on the pages of the art journal. Let me see if I can get that one up and get it just a little bit closer. I don't think I want to see white gap in between. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to work the other direction. And this one, I got to do the bottom one first. So sometimes you feel like creating, but you just don't feel so creative to do or work on a big project. That's me anyway. Sometimes you just need to relax. Collage is always great for relaxing and not having to think too hard about it. And there's a lot of different ways that we have collaged. And this, I think, is just it's a whole nother way. It's like collage with a twist. I think it's a very cool twist. I think it gives it a really neat look. And it is also, I'm keeping the original pictures not intact, but yet visible. That's looking cool, isn't it? See, now in my mountains with fog, when I just glance at it on the screen, first look like water. So this really reminds me of a Hawaiian sunset over the beach. Isn't that interesting? How a picture of one thing can look like something completely different. It does look intriguing, doesn't it, Carrie? Especially if you don't have a lot of strength or energy to do a whole lot else at some point. I'm sure you're using a lot of energy this weekend with your grands. That is so awesome that you get to spend this time with them. Now you got great grandkids. I mean, awesome grandkids, not great grands. Glennis, are you trying it? Probably why she's not chatting. Can always count on Glennis to at least try what I'm doing. Whether you end up liking it or not, at least give it a try. Trying to get that one right in there without white space, but not overlapping. I don't want to see gaps. To me, that will give me, it will make my brain realize that they're two different pictures. I see the gap, the white space in between, but I don't necessarily want them overlapping. This actually could be a really cool page just by itself in a junk journal or art journal too. But I could see doing smaller pictures too, and then gluing that smaller picture onto a page of an art journal. And I can just trim up the edges when this is all done if I didn't get them perfectly lined up even on the edge, or if I have a little extra white space there. Okay, that wasn't as bad. Didn't take quite as long as I thought it would. So the longest part is the cutting. And I guess depending what it is, you might could find a picture that you don't have to keep in order. But I think the cool part of this is that in the end, you actually can see that whole photo. And if they weren't in order, you wouldn't see it the same. So even the flowers, even though the whole thing was sunflowers, you can tell that that's all one flower, and and that and so forth. So if they were just discombobulated and put wherever, then hi Deshelle, glad you're here. Glennis is doing 2 landscapes. So so there is the fusion of the sunflower photo and the mountains with the clouds way down below the mountains. Again, though, how I look at that and I see a sunset or sunrise, probably a sunset because of the colors, over Hawaii, over the water. And when I look at it closely, then I can see mountains and, all of that. But when I just glance at it, isn't that cool? I'm exhausted, but in a good way. Yeah, we shouldn't have so much body. Oh, I'm with you, Carrie. I understand. All right, so I can tell that I did not place the very first one exactly straight because I've got a little left over here. And there's a little left over right here. So maybe I did place them straight, and maybe because you'd think that, yeah, no, that is correct. That would be in the right place. Yeah, little left over there. So my first one wasn't exactly straight, or as I went along, something I didn't get exactly straight on it. But you don't know that if you can't see the edge. So we can take care of that just by trimming up the edge. And I will trim it in far enough that it makes it even all the way down. Oh, that is so close, it's not. There we go. And I can trim up this one. Oh, I can't get flat against the edge. That's why I'm having a hard time making it straight. Okay. And if I overlapped it all on top or bottom, I can clean those up. This would actually make a cool book cover too. The right photos. And on the bottom here, so I got a little over the top on the top, and so the bottom has a little bit of white. I'll just come along like this. Trim that white right off. Well, it would help if I had it straight. But there you go. So you get that, and that would make a cool book cover, especially if you chose specific photos for a book cover. But something like the landscapes, those are extra pieces. They're still in order. These are my offcuts. They're going to get thrown away. Thrown away. Okay. If you had, two landscapes on there, that would make a cool book cover, wouldn't it? Oh, could see doing Santa. That would be cool. Cool in a travel journal to take 2 of your pictures from your trip. Yeah, I totally agree. Use it as a travel journal cover. I thought about getting one of the photos of one of the castles in Europe that we saw a few years ago. And that would have been cool. And so if you did that and it was the cover and you could see that castle, like this door is one of the doors that I took on a cathedral in Europe. And it's when I printed it out full size, I'm looking for it here, because when I printed it out full size, it didn't give me the whole door. And I really loved that door. And I was hoping that if I printed it out 8.5 by 11, I would get the full door. I'm going to find that maybe somebody has a tip for me on how to actually get that to print out the full door. I mean, I do it smaller. I wanted it to be 8.5 by 11 full door. But maybe I do have to make it smaller in order to get the whole door on it. I've got so many photos anymore. Okay, here we are, getting back to that trip. I took lots of doors, pictures of doors of cathedrals in Europe, because they are so cool. They are so old and so ornate. And this one just stands out because of the color. Let's see. You don't realize how many pictures you take until after, and you go back and look at them. The other thing that I thought would be cool to do this with would be a couple of gel prints. And even a gel print with a photo or a picture out of a book. Because it definitely, you have 2 gel prints that are just competing. It's just going to be a big conglomeration mess, a little tougher. But a gel print with a landscape would be really cool. The gel print colors could accent the landscape or a cool tree. All right, I'm in the Europe pictures. It's toward the beginning. So I got lots of cathedral doors there. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that just a cool door? I was really hoping to get the whole thing, and I only got 3/4 of it on here, so I may just need to print it a little bit smaller. But I love the ironwork on the door, and this is really kind of true to color that it was. So any tips on how to get that to print out large but get the full door? And then, opposite direction for the strips. So that's another thing. So I thought I printed a tree. Where's the tree? There's the tree. So I printed a tree in the fall. It's kind of a bare tree. I thought that could be done this way. Actually, any of them could be done that way too, but to make it go now, if you did it this way, I'm going to have less strips, which might be nice. If I do it this way and do the tree portrait, then I would still have lots of strips, which would give me the same look as like looking through the blinds. And I don't know, the tree could be interspersed with, this one was a portrait picture and I turned it around to get it this way. So I could turn it back and print it that way. And having the roses between the tree might be cool, or maybe the sunset between the tree, or even just one great big giant flower that shows up between the tree. That might be cool. We probably have time to do that one, but there's another kind of simple technique with this same artist. I'm looking to see if any of these images would really lend well to that. Not so much, but let's see what Glennis has. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so there's Glennis's. And you have to kind of stop and let your mind focus on just one and then the other. What's cool about it, it's kind of like the that image of the old lady, the young lady, and the two faces are in the picture. And at first glance, which do you see first, the old face or the young face? But if you look at it long enough, then it, you know, one fades back, one comes forward, and you can see the other one as well. Do a teeny tiny one, 4 strips like that, like the flower and the tree. So here's my thought on this one. I like the idea of, these are, I think they're 5 by 7. And you could leave white around them for the sake of time. Doing it quicker, I'm not going to. And because they're smaller, I can use the smaller paper trimmer, which will go much faster. It's regular copy paper and hard to get that exactly even. I should have put another piece of paper with it to give it some structure. Especially when you don't have very much to cut off. The thinner the paper is, the more difficult it is to cut it. So if you take another piece, I guess I need to see it since I'm putting that underneath it. Put another piece underneath it just to give it a little bit of structure. Will help be able to cut that teeny tiny swatch off. Okay, so I'm setting that one aside for a minute. Get these out of the way. That looks like it should be the bottom, like the water has settled. The water droplets have come down to the bottom. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut them together. Hopefully they'll cut a little bit better. And I think I'm going to do 1/2 inch. Looking at the other one after the fact, I think 1/2 inch strips are probably just right. I did the other one just slightly less than 1/2 inch. Smaller the picture, though, the smaller you'll want your strips to be. So if you do anything smaller than this, you might want to go down to 3/8 or 1/4. But 1/2 inch seems to be good for this. Now, as I'm cutting it, I realized that I was trimming up those edges because I was going to show you that other technique. And now I can't because I cut it up. but maybe I can run it with one of these bigger ones. So let's see here. And then my end piece is just going to be a little bit larger, and that's okay. I'll post it. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Scraps being born. Well, any scraps that I don't use here can just get thrown away. Right, Margie? We don't need to keep them. I was originally going to do 3 more ways to use up scraps today, and I just wasn't feeling it. So we'll do that on another day. I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock. Maybe 2. So starting with 5x7 pictures, when you're putting 2 of them down, see if I can move these up without, I'm not sure I can, without ruining their order. Okay, so this one, I think I'm going to use this glue, which comes out a little bit faster, a little bit thicker. And I'm going to, I don't need it that long. Forgot that this was a smaller photo. Try to bring it up there. Should have done against the, I'm going to do it against the bottom because it'll make it easier to put the rest on. There we go. So that's my widest one. I could have cut it down and then just not used the edge, but let's see if this works. Why not, right? Glue the entire page in strips. And then see if I can do it without setting my hand into the glue strips. That's asking a lot. But I think it's going to go a lot faster. I think after you do this a couple of times, you'd kind of get a feel and a routine down for techniques or ways that would make it easier, quicker. This is quicker, actually, having those glue strips down. And that is, my art glitter glue is coming out super thin right now because I need to clean out that nozzle. But this is the Barely Art glue, which actually has a wider nozzle on it. So it's coming out thicker. The thinner your glue comes out, the faster it's going to dry. So if I did this with the art glitter glue, this would already be dried. It's already starting to bead up and dry right now. But I think I can get these, down in time. So having little thicker strips, or not strips, little thicker beads of glue or lines of glue, I guess that's what they are. Thicker lines of glue is going to make it last till I get all the way there with the paper. It's starting to look cool. I can definitely see the tree. And it's like you're seeing some kind of cool sunset or something behind the tree or through the tree. It's interesting to me how one of the photos becomes like the blinds. You know, the bars that you're seeing the other one through. And this one, it turns out that that's the tree. Okay, last one. There we go. To focus on it, I can see the tree, and then I focus on it and I see the flower all over the room. Keeping them in order would be very difficult for me. Yeah, Laura, that was the hardest part. And so like when you cut them, just have even a tray, even if you got a cookie tray, and you cut them and then just lay them in order as you cut them. So you could set the tray over here and not disturb them, because the hardest part for me is not to disturb them while they're on my desk, as you can see with these right here. That would be that. Yeah, that is most difficult. So that looks cool too. Different. Now this was 2 5x7 photos. And so they're still only going to be 7 inches tall. So this is 8.5. They're only 7. But 5, that gives us 10. So it's shy of the 11. So you could do 5x7 photos, and you could print them with a white border and do this, leaving the white border on the images. So if the images were centered on the paper, then you could put them on here, and then they would be the right length, depending which type, which direction you turned it. And then you just trim off any side. You could center that so that you have a little bit of white border over here, a little bit of white border over there. And essentially it would look like your photo has a white frame around it. That would look cool as well, I think. So, okay. So let me see if I can, with these 2 of these, show you quickly that other. I don't think so. None of these photos are going to work. I'd have to wait until I'll have to find a photo that it works, unless I can find something in this book really quickly. What I need in this photo is like 2 differences. Might work with the sky and the white tree. The photo that I saw it done with that looked really cool was 2 trees side by side, but one tree was bare, had no leaves at all, and the other tree was fully green. It was an odd juxtaposition, and this technique looked really cool with that. Just got a lot of food. So it's that contrast that is needed. That might work with the green over here and the yellow over here. There's a lot of cool pictures in this book. I knew I got it for a reason. Okay, this might work with the blue and the golden of the leaves. Let's see if there's a better one. I like the side by side. So a green tree and a red tree would work. It's a little bit small, but that's why it's really cool to use photos that you have taken, like on your travels. And so you have your photos, and you've added a cool artistic twist to them. It, again, just takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. Trying to find just the right photo in a hurry. No, never great. Never easy to do. Just the right one in a big hurry. I like using photos that I took because I can print them out again and again to use for other things too. So, okay, so let's take this. And I need a circle punch. But I want this circle punch to go in the middle. So let me grab this one. Now, you could use a square punch too. This would also look really cool with a square. I'm going to use this circle punch because I can get it. I know book cutting hurts. If I didn't get that book specifically for this, it would hurt worse. But now that I've taken that photo out, it'll be easier to take all the rest out. Okay, so this, oh, this is so big. It's not a huge photo, and this is a really big circle punch. But I don't think any of my normal punches are going to fit. It's a little bit larger. Let's see, they're not going to fit in the middle. Well, they don't. Oh. All right. So again, trying a technique with you, brand new. I don't really want it that close to the edge. This says that this is 2 inch and this is 2 inch. So I'm going to go back to this one because it should work. So I'm going to take a 2 inch circle, and maybe it doesn't need to be that large, but then I'm definitely not going to get into the middle. 1 3/4. Let's see how far that will go in. So that won't even go in unless I cut off the white border. So I'm going to try this. Let's just try it. It's a technique we're trying. Okay, so this. Okay, so this circle punch, you put it where you want your circle cut out of. I'm going to say right there, that brown and green, mostly brown. And then you set that base underneath it. Well, gotta be able to see. I can't see. The little magnets line up. The divot's over here. Okay, so the little magnets line up. Okay, that's on. Pull it down. You can move it around wherever you want, but it lines up to hold it in place. And then these go on here. Okay, and now push down, and then slide the magnet off, and there's my hole punch. Okay, and then I want it again up here. Those might be pretty big holes for this size of photo, but I want to again up here somewhere. Did I turn that upside down, or is that right? No, I'm going to this side up. There we go. Okay, that's locked in. I want to move it up higher to get all blue. Okay, and then the magnet is really strong. I just have to get it close, and then it goes where it's supposed to go. Ah. Okay, don't try to slide it out when you have a hole in the picture. It's all right. I can repair that from behind. Just a tear. Okay, and now put this down. So if this was a photo that you had taken and you glued this photo down, then in fact, let me just do I'm just going to do this. Put some by my tear. So you glue your photo down, your picture, whatever it is, and then you switch these two circles. Okay, I mean, it's so simple. It's like, this is something you could do with your kindergarten class. It is so, so simple. But it's actually a very artistic move. I can't see with the glare. Now it's digging down. I need to get it in the circle, on the circle exactly. Okay. And boy, that one fit in so well that I couldn't even see that it was there. And you can decide which direction you want to turn it. Do I want it to be this way to match that skyline there? Or do I want to turn it upside down? Or that way? I think I'll just leave it that way. Well, okay. If you tear your paper as much as I do, this is why we do well with kindergartners. Okay. So it's a very, very simple thing. And it's also a very artistic move. Now, as I looked at this, what came to my mind was I have some really cool pictures of red rock mountains down in southern Utah. It'd be really cool to do this with the red rock with the sky above it. Put the sky here. It looks like there's a hole in the rock and you can see the sky through it. So that would be really neat. I might have to do that with one of the big rock ones. Piece of rock up in the sky and seeing a sky through the hole. Even if you just cut out, even if you just put if you chose not to put that one up there, but you put the sky down here, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? Margie made a smaller one. My books just sit on the shelf. They'll get much more use and appreciation if I dig into them, cut the pages, and use it. That's true, Carrie. That is absolutely true. And a lot of them I get just for that purpose. So, okay, so Glynis made a teeny tiny one for Margie. Looks like from the Dick and Jane books. That's cute. How big is it, Glynis? I know it's not super big, but can't tell by here. You're thinking the strips are too wide? They could be any width you wanted. And you could even make the strips like a triangle shape. Bigger at the top, smaller at the bottom. The next one, smaller at the top, bigger at the bottom. I mean, why not? Try it out, see what it looks like. Different artistic 2x5. Whoa, that is tiny. Just different artistic things. It's the kind of thing that once you do it, you just play with it, and you could think of all different kinds of variations. I mean, you could do the collage and then cut these circles out. I don't think it would have quite the same impact, though, as cutting the circle of the one image, one picture there. But that looks really cool. I do like that. And I like the collages. I like the idea of doing this in the art journal, into my art journal, or doing it on a piece of copy paper so it's a little bit thinner, and then being able to use it in the art journal. Even if I took regular photos, if you have a bunch of printed out photos that you mentioned from doing it from your travels, like for a travel journal, if you print your photos out 4x6 or whatever they are, and then you use those actual photos, then you could come up with something that's smaller. Use that in an art journal or in your scrapbook that you're doing for that travel. Okay, so I am pulling up the wheel of names right now. I have Glynis, Margie, Carrie, and Chris on the list. You have about 60 seconds if you would like to get into that drawing, to go down to Super Chat below. I'm going to start typing in the names here. Give you about 60 seconds to do a Super Chat if you want to still get in that drawing. Real good chance today. There's only 4 people in the drawing at this point. Glynis, Margie, Carrie, and Chris. All right, let me pop back here and see. Leave you off, Margie? Okay. So you have a really good chance. There's only 3 people in the drawing right now. So if someone wants to jump into Super Chat, now is a really good time to do it. Let me get these. Get you in at least 5 times in the drawing here. On the wheel. I like to see the names on the wheel bunches of times. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. And there's 5. We might need to go one more time. We'll get you in 6 times. 6 times on the wheel. Okay, let me come back here. Any other super chats that I missed? I don't think so. Okay, so let's go to our wheel of names. Let's get that screen up here. Wheel of names, share. And as soon as I get that going, I will watch it on YouTube so I don't spoil it before you see it. So here we go. Ready to spin the wheel for today's prize bag. Almost stopped. Almost stopped. Congratulations, Glynis. Hi, Sylvia. Always wanted a bigger top and a smaller bottom. Congratulations, Glynis. Glynis is today's winner. That's awesome. Congrats, congrats. Let me remove that there. Okay. If you tried this, I know Glynis has already done it. Carrie's going to do it when she gets home. But if you've tried this or you do try it afterwards, please post your photos in the Facebook group. We love to see them. Love to see all the things that you're working on. They don't have to be just what we've done on Jumpstart, and they don't have to be of anything in particular. So whether it's photography or painting or card making or journal making or crocheting, whatever it is, please post your photos. They are inspiring for everyone. And as we're moving into the fall and winter seasons where a lot of people spend a lot more time at home out of the cold, it is really nice to see all those photos for inspiration. Also, just in case you haven't noticed, we've been featuring photos from the feed. So our HPP members post photos of things that you have made and are working on. We're featuring those as our header in the Facebook group. So please give me some to put up there. Need to have a whole bunch of those in order to have some to get up there as the header. He was, oh no, Sylvia, he gave it to you. Shoot. Yeah, it almost killed him. He probably almost had to spend 3 days home from work, huh? You almost had to go to the ER. But you get to continue cleaning the kitchen, doing the laundry, and cooking. You do not get to sit down and rest or lay down and die from the common cold. Sylvia, I love you. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Congratulations again, Glynis, for winning today's prize pack. And you know the drill on the postage, so I'll leave that for you. And thanks again for joining me today. I really can't wait to see the photos that you do, because yours are going to be different than mine. I will post these in the group, and let's see what y'all come up with. So until next time, bye. Yeah, bye.